I see you. You are building a business and you are building a brand and you're showing up on social media the best way you know. But is your brand cohesive and is it professional? Whether that's showing up on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even via your website. In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of having a strong brand presence and why it even matters, and how having a cohesive brand can help you to get the right audience. And not just the right audience, but attract your clients. All right, so let's dive into it. I have my notes here and I'm just going to talk about the very first thing, and why is brand presence important? Why does it matter? So the first thing is, like I always tell every client and when I talk to entrepreneurs who are struggling in this area, is that having a brand presence that is all over the place does not make you come off as trustworthy. It doesn't make you look very credible, and you create question in the minds of others. I have a video where I talked about not having a clear brand identity can affect you, or how it can affect you, and I dive really deep into that, so you want to check that out. But having a brand presence that is very consistent helps to build credibility and is more likely to have persons buying and spending with you, and that's because they trust you. So you want to be very intentional about it, but you also want to have a strategy behind it as well. Here's the best part. When you have a clear brand identity, you have the foundation set up. One, you are more intentional and clearer on how you're showing up in a way that connects with the right audience. So you're not just creating content or just posting because it's something to do, but because there is an intention behind it, there's a strategy behind it that is leading to something, whether it's growth, whether it's reach, whether it's conversion, right? And so, like I said earlier, start with a clear brand identity. What is a brand identity? It is a strategic and visual representation of your brand. And your brand is how persons perceive you, and branding is the work you put into building that brand. So it's all the effort you take into how you want to look, how you want to sound, and how you want persons to experience you. And so one of the things I like to say is that your brand identity goes deeper than just pretty graphics or just looking good. It goes beyond logo, it goes beyond colors, it goes beyond the fonts. It's more about how do you want to look online, how do you want to sound, and who you want to connect with. And all these things should play into how you show up online. And if you haven't quite defined this yet, I have a worksheet that can help you to get some clarity, so you can check the description below. That will help you. And I have another resource at the end of the video that you also want to check out that can help you, or how I can help you to get get clearer on building a strong brand presence. Now, let's talk about strategy before aesthetic. So one of the things I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, and that you might be struggling with as well, is that you are creating content and you're focused more on aesthetics. And creating aesthetically pleasing videos or content is great, but is it leading to anything? And if it's not leading to anything, that means maybe you're not talking to your audience, but instead you're talking at them. And it probably also means you don't know what your audience wants, you don't know their pain points, you don't know their desires, and you are not providing a solution. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've made this mistake as well. And that is even what inspired me to talk a lot more about branding. Because before, I used to create all the content and I'd be like, yes, this is what I know really well. This is what I like. This is what people want. But I was not talking to the audience or the clients that I really wanted to attract. And so that's why I'm saying strategy is more important than aesthetics. So you want to spend the time to get very clear on the why of you creating content, and also to have a strategy around it. So when I talk about creating a strategy, you want to ask yourself these questions. What does my audience really want? So that is for you to answer. What does your audience really want? Then you want to say, what is a pain point they're facing right now? What is a big challenge that your audience is facing and you can help them with? And it doesn't matter what type of business it is on. If you have a travel business, you can create content for those who are struggling to find the best budget-friendly places for vacation, or places they can stay for family trips, right? That's a pain point. You can create content and build your brand around, around content that solves that problem, not but just content, but also services and offers that can help them in that area. Another question you can ask yourself is, how can I make their lives easier? So when I'm creating this content, I'm like, how can I talk about the things that I know you're struggling with? And I know for some of you, your biggest challenge, and the reason why you click this video is because you're showing up on social media, but you don't feel like you're showing up in a way that is professional. Neither is it very cohesive because you're very scatterbrained and you don't have a strategy, right? And everybody's telling you to be consistent, everybody's telling to create content, but then you don't have a strategy and you don't have a game plan at the end of the day. And probably sometime when you're creating that content, you're not getting any engagements, you're not getting any leads, and you're not getting any clients, right? So the big part and the biggest problem you're having right now is quite possibly strategy. Now let's talk about strategy from a standpoint of not only knowing what to do, but also when you start doing it, what are some tools you can utilize. And so if you want to be more cohesive online, one of the first things you can do if you're creating content in terms of videos and graphics is to use platforms or tools like Canva. So you can use Canva's brand kit. So that's where you set up your colors, your fonts, your logos, so that every time you're creating graphics, you have a foundational place that you can start from. And then you want to have a style guide. What is this guide you're going to use to help you to stay on brand and cohesive when you're creating graphics, whether that's for Instagram, LinkedIn, or even for your website? You need things like this. Like I said earlier, I have a video that breaks down everything in detail in terms of the implications of not having a clear brand identity. Now, the other thing you want to do that will really help you in terms of a strategic standpoint, but also having systems, is having a content calendar. Have a plan. Have a strategy, then have a plan, and then use that plan to execute. Use that plan to execute the type of content you're going to create, whether it's videos, whether it's carousels, whatever. You need to have a content calendar and a plan. And you're like, but Carey, I'm not a designer. I don't want to be in Canva. I'm not sure where to start. You want to check out my resource on Create Framework, which is a content creation framework that helps you with content creation, that not only helps you to show up online consistently, but also helps you to be on brand. And so you can check that out in the description. But the bonus I have for you is that you can book a free 30-minute brand audit session with me, where I will go through your socials and audit how you're showing up online and how you can better position yourself. Let me tell you, if you want to show up in a way that makes you more consistent, more cohesive across all socials, in a way that you are talking to your audience and not at your audience, and also in a way that challenges you, then this audit session is for you. I'm offering it free for the first 10 women entrepreneurs who click this link and who qualify. So if this sounds like something for you, just give this video a thumbs up, sign up with the link in below, and I can't wait for you to just get better at really showing up the way that you truly can. That will not only get you the likes and engagement you want, but really get you the clients that you need. One of the key things I left out that you would definitely need to have if you're creating and want to create on-brand content across any platform is having templates. Now, I mentioned Canva as a tool earlier, but if you're also creating videos and editing your videos using CapCut, templates is going to be a game changer for you. You can also utilize your brand kit using CapCut. You can save presets for your video look and quality, as well as your fonts, as well as just even your transitions. So you can save templates and use templates to make your life easier. So it's not just about a nice thing to have, but something you want to use. I mentioned also in terms of using Canva, when you have your brand template, I talk a lot about that here on this channel. If you have your brand kit and if you create your brand kit and use your brand templates, it helps you to save so much time. So if you're creating carousel carousels, ensure that you have a brand template. If you're creating stories, ensure you have a brand template. This saves you time, but it also helps you to be more consistent and cohesive across any platform. So if you're creating content on LinkedIn, on Instagram, it gives you that cohesive look. But here I've been talking a lot about the graphics and the looking side of things, but it's also about your brand voice, your brand tone, and your messaging. So when I talk about templates, it's not just about the aesthetics of looking good, but also how you communicate and how persons experience you. So I forgot that key thing, and I wanted just to remind you guys that having templates, using a style guide, and these things help you to be consistent and cohesive across social media.